Welcome to Module 1, which is about the Danielson Domain 4 Component 4A, known as Reflecting on Teaching. I'm just going to go over a few basic concepts of this component. You can see the first one there includes the teacher's thinking following the instruction. So the instruction has happened, and now the teacher is reflecting or thinking about it. Also, the teacher is going to evaluate what impact that instruction had on the student learning. And then the other piece is, after all of that reflection, where is the teacher going to go in the future, based on that reflection? Now, just some basic ways to reflect. You could keep a journal, or you could even have an online blog, student work analysis, and also student feedback. The student feedback could come from conversations, or you could actually have a form where the students give you feedback. And also the basic part of reflecting is just you thinking about your teaching. Now here's a distinguished level example because we are looking at Danielson's rubric. So, again, the rubric goes all the way from unsatisfactory to distinguished. So you can see the teacher they're going back and reflecting on the lesson. So the teacher would say, I think that the lesson worked pretty well, although I was, disappointed in how Jimmy and Andrea worked as a pair at the back table. They did not complete steps 4 and 5 of the activity, while the rest of the pairs completed all 5 steps accurately. So now as the teacher, there's been some reflection. How'd the lesson go? What worked? What didn't work? So again, this teacher is focusing on how the group work went. So the teacher could have a conversation with a colleague, could do some internet searching, to find some different strategies on grouping students. And then in the future, they would plan to try some new grouping strategies with a future lesson. So again, they did the reflection after the lesson. Notice it was specific. What didn't they like about the lesson? So again, they talked about the grouping. And then again, what was the teacher going to do to take that into a future lesson? Now, here's a list of 10 ways to be a more reflective teacher. These are not my own ideas. They actually came from the teachthought.com blog. So here's 10 ways to be more reflective. You could record a video of a lesson. Pretty easy to do nowadays. Everybody has a smartphone, iPads, all sorts of things to record video. Then you could also share that video with your PLN or your personal learning network, another colleague, whatever that happens to be. You could also invite a colleague to observe your class. Again, asking students for feedback. Here's a really big question. How did it go and how do you know? Remember, if you want to get to that distinguished level, you not only look at how did it go, but also being very specific, giving examples about that. Keep a journal or an online blog. And, again, you have to be brutally honest with yourself, but don't be overly critical. Don't get too crazy with all of that. Surround yourself with positivity. Look for both what is working and what is broken. So focus on the good, focus on the bad, using your weaknesses using your strengths to bring up your weaknesses. And also diversify your methods of reflection. So don't reflect the same way every time. There's also a taxonomy of reflection, just as you're used to Bloom's taxonomy. Again, you can see this came from a website, not my own ideas, just sharing them with you, from Peter Pappas. Notice we have this taxonomy of reflection. It starts with remembering, what did I do? Understanding, what was important about it? Applying, where could I use this again? Because remember that reflection, you want to take it into the future. So if it worked, where can you use that again? Analyzing, do I see any patterns in what I did? So patterns in what worked, patterns in what didn't work. And then evaluating, how well did I do? Did it go well? Did it not go well? And then creating, what should I do next? Again, taking you into the future. So reflecting and going forward with it. Now, what I would like you to do is to complete a reflective self-assessment tool. You're going to see in Module 1, there's some resources there. There is a reflective self-assessment tool, so all of you will complete that. So once you're done watching this video, you can go back into the Module 1 content and you'll see resources that back up things you saw in this video and then some other resources to help you with reflecting on your teaching.